Welcome back to KVR News. I'm Mackenzie Palmer. After defeating Oklahoma State in Saturday, 71-60, Texas women's basketball advanced to the Big 12 tournament semifinals. They would be looking to advance to the finals for a possible rematch with the Baylor Bears. However, they would fall short, losing to West Virginia 62-59. They will now await their seeding in the NCAA tournament, which will be announced on next Monday. After winning this past Tuesday at home against Lamar 9-5, Texas baseball went on the road to Stanford over the weekend. Texas won the series opener on Thursday 4-0 thanks to 7 innings and 8 strikeouts from Nolan Keenum. That would end up being the only win on the weekend for the Horns. Starting off the week, it's championship week. NCAA AP rankings were released today, and the top 4 teams were no surprise. Kansas still remains at number 1, with Villanova at number 2 and UCLA at number 3. All 3 teams head in the conference with a 28-3 regular season record. Gonzaga sits at number 4 with a record of 30-1. But I would say AAC is a league to keep an eye on this week, specifically the Bearcats and the Mustangs. If these 2 teams meet in the ACC tournament title game on Sunday, which seems very likely to happen, it will be a must-see for television.
We'll go to the Mustangs.
Yes, senior attacker number 15, Nicholas Schultz, had an impressive season last year. He helped lead his team to the LSA National Championship with 45 goals and 26 assists. Already this season, he has had 9 goals in 3 games. He was named LSA's Offensive Player of the Season last year, and so I expect nothing less than greatness from him this game. But it's also important to make sure we point out freshman attacker Graham Gillespie, who has already had 8 goals this game, and I'm sure that he's going to make a name for himself this season.
2 great points.
There is a lot of game left to be played, but SMU came out very strong in the beginning. Nicholas Schultz already scored first 10 minutes into the game, but their defense let up a bit and allowed Texas Longhorns to get in and obviously put on a 3-point lead. I think that they can come back in the second half if their defense can get stronger, but so far it does look like Texas Longhorns are here and ready to play. Welcome back, I'm Mackenzie Palmer, and this is College Press Box Unhooked. It was certainly an interesting weekend in college football. Ole Miss almost pulled off a 3-year winning streak against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Oklahoma Sooners lost their second game this season against Ohio State Buckeyes, putting Bob Stoops' career in jeopardy. And the same fate could be met for Les Miles, whose team, LSU, barely pulled off a win against Mississippi State. Unlike Cam Newton in the Super Bowl, let's dive into this week's biggest news. I think he's just new, and I think they're taking it slow. He's having to learn how to play as an NFL quarterback. He's experiencing things he never experienced as a college player. And let's not forget, he did sustain an injury in the preseason, a shoulder injury, so he's definitely still dealing with that. I think it's not a bad idea to let him sit back, gain experience, heal his injury, and then we'll definitely see him before the season's over.
Yeah. With me now is women's basketball analyst Mackenzie Palmer. How are you tonight?
Doing so good tonight.
Good, Mackenzie. Good to have you on. I want to ask you first about what's been going on with Coach Karen Aston's team. They won their first 14 Big 12 games. They've now lost their last 3. What's been the reason for their late struggles?
Exactly. Simply put, Nick, I'm going to say that they have lost their momentum. Last week against Baylor, they led throughout the first half. They even led in the fourth quarter throughout all 3 of their last losses. But somehow they allowed Baylor in Iowa State to creep back into the game and win in the final moments. I think senior center guard Kelsey Lang said it best. They have gotten too comfortable with some of the things that they did really well early in the season, and that is the reason why they have lost 3 straight games at the end of the regular season. I think that if they can gain their momentum back and strategize new ways to have elements of surprise, that they will be able to be a top team and be able to be a contender against Kansas State tonight.
Yep.
The Texas Longhorns shocked the 8th-ranked Baylor Bears, pulling out an upset of 35-34. Texas defense came ready to play, showing improvement with pressuring Baylor quarterback Seth Russell and capitalizing on turnovers. But the offense held their own, with standout D'Onta Foreman rushing his best career high and scoring his 9th and 10th touchdowns of the season. Tonight was all about D'Onta Foreman and his 250 yards rushed this game, adding to his record breaking of more than 1,000 yards rushed in a season. This is something that hasn't been done since Jamal Charles last did it in 2007.
I'm so proud, we haven't had one here since Jamal Charles 2007. Like I said, I went and hugged every lineman in the locker room and told them thank you. Without them, without the blessings from God, I wouldn't have been able to do it by myself.
He's just playing at a different level, and he wants to be the best back in the country, and right now he's playing like he is the best back in the country. And you just watch him, some of those yards, he's going to get the big runs, but also there's those, 2 and 3 where he has to grind it out and he has to pound it. But it's the way he works.
I don't know what it is, but he needs to keep doing it. It's fun to watch him, being able to give it to him and watch him run the ball. It's a lot of fun seeing what he can do with it.
This win cools the seat of head coach Charlie Strong, who has been facing criticism on how the Longhorns' current performance has gone this season.
I really care about a team that really cares about me. And it's not a program that's in disarray, which many of you think. It's not a program that is going backwards. It's a program that's headed forward, and it's a program that is going to be special one of these days when you watch this program really take off.
Next week, the Longhorns face rival Texas Tech, and Texas fans will look to see if the Longhorns can continue to improve. Mackenzie Palmer, College Press Box.